Welcome back with our second topic. On the 10th of December, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, Mustafa Waziri, Deputy Governor of Al Sharqiya Governorate, Ahmed Abdel Maati, and the French Ambassador to Cairo, Mark Peretti, inaugurated the Visitors Center of the ancient San Al-Hagar area in Sharqiya Governorate. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phono with Mr. Ihab Kamel, historian and researcher. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Kamel, could you give us an idea about the San Al-Hagar ancient and also the Visitors Center that was recently inaugurated?
Well, we have to understand the importance of Tanis or San Al-Hagar as the center of reign of the 21st and the 22nd dynasties. As a matter of fact, many people think that it was only the capital of these two dynasties. As a matter of fact, this is not true. The importance that was given to Eastern Delta had started as early as Ramses II, when he had moved his capital from Thebes to be in northeast of Delta in Per Ramessu, which is very close from San al-Hagar. Later on, in the third intermediate period, starting from the 21st dynasty, Tanis became the capital of ancient Egypt, because in these days, Egypt was ruled by two dynasties, or maybe as early as the 20th dynasty, starting from the time of Ramses IX. We had the priests of Ammon ruling Upper Egypt from Thebes, and the Ramessides who had ruled from the north. So actually, starting from then, a great deal of importance was given to the Delta that was under the reign of the official Egyptian dynasty that was ruling starting from the 20th dynasty. Starting from the 21st dynasty, Tanis had started to form, and especially that we had found lots and lots of tombs over there. Tanis is a very rich site, to the extent that it was called Thebes of the North. As a matter of fact, many people think that excavations did not start in Tanis at an early stage. Also, this is not true. Excavations had started in Tanis as early as the 19th century, as the 1880s by Auguste Mariette, but the major finding in Tanis was in the 20th century, in the year 1939, when a French archaeologist, his name was Pierre Monti, had discovered the tombs of the 21st and the 22nd dynasties intact. And as a matter of fact, this is considered to be one of the major collections of the Egyptian Museum, which is not really less than the collection of King Tutankhamun. Tanis, or the Eastern Delta in general, is a very important archaeological site which covers a huge area, and the Department of Antiquities had done a magnificent work lately. I had been there a couple of years ago, and I had been there more than 30 years ago. No, the difference is huge. Everything is restored, things are back, the obelisks are there, the remains are properly restored, and you can see the remains of a real city at the moment. Opening a visitor's center and a museum, I think this is like the icing of the cake, because the big work was done in the past few years when the whole city was restored.
Yes. Mr. Kamel, you were now telling me about the name, the old name of San al-Hagar, Tanis. So when was the name changed? Give us about the history of the name, Tanis and San al-Hagar.
Well, Tanis, that's the name that the
The old
Greeks had
name.
given. The old name the Greeks
Yes.
had given this area because it was located on the Tanisian branch of the river. So
Yes.
they named it after the Tanisian branch.
Yes.
The name San al-Hagar, it's driven from the biblical name of this town that was called So'an in the Old Testament. And from there, the name San al-Hagar came. As a matter of fact, the ancient Egyptian name was Ha'inbit. And a bit by bit, the names had started changing, and most of the names had been changed after the Arab invasion during the 7th century AD. But the original name or the most famous name was Tanis because of its location on the Tanisian branch, because in the ancient times, the river did not have two branches in the delta. Actually, it had 5, and the Tanisian branch was one of them.
Yes. Also, Mr. Kamel, how would the opening or the inauguration of the Visitors Center in San al-Hagar would turn the place to an open museum?
The place is already an open-air museum.
Yes.
And the restoration work that was done by the Department of Antiquities is amazing.
Yes.
It's something outstanding, really. But I believe that the area to be a center of attraction, it needs more than a visitor's center.
Yes.
We need to focus on developing the whole area, the whole Sharqiya province as a tourist destination. We need to upgrade the touristic infrastructure over there so that it can occupy bigger number of visitors. We need to upgrade the roads that leads to Tanis. It needs lots of work. I believe this is not the work or the responsibility of the Department of Antiquities. The Department of Antiquities had done an outstanding job for the site itself. The rest, it's the local authorities. It's the work of the local authorities of Sharqiya Governorate. And you'd be surprised to know that many people abroad, they know about Tanis. Those who are interested in ancient Egyptian antiquities, they would be delighted if they have the chance to visit that site because it's one of the major sites and it has its own magic.
Yes. So, Mr. Kamel, what are the other monuments around this area? What are the important monuments there?
Well, we have to understand that finding things intact in Eastern Delta, it's not that easy because, as you know, the Delta is an agricultural area. So digging and excavating there is not that easy.
Yes.
However, you have lots of sites. You have the remains of Tiramisu in Qantir al-Khata'na, which is not that far. You have Talbasta, which is not that far from Tanis, the city that the 22nd dynasty came from. And it still needs a great deal of care and attention. I'm sure that the Department of Antiquities has this area in its plan in Eastern Delta. But
Yes.
the most important thing about Eastern Delta, that it stimulates the imagination of all those who are interested in the ancient Egyptian history, because it's in a way kind of linked to the biblical history,
Yes.
which up till now we have no solid proof about its existence.
Yes. Yes. So, what would the opening of the visitor center in San al Hagar would add to the map of tourism in Egypt?
Well, it will actually make the site itself uh, a perfect site, and
Yes.
a site that's ready for receiving visitors. But what I'm saying is that the Department of Antiquities had done the job, and they had done it well. The
Yes.
rest is not their job. It's the upgrading of the infrastructure of the whole place, the whole governorate, in order to attract visitors, because visitors need services, needs roads, needs all different kinds of facilities,
Yes.
which I believe that is not really existing in Sharqiya Governorate at the moment.
Yes, yes. So, Mr. Kamel, what would you say briefly concerning the 21st dynasty?
The 21st dynasty is a very strange dynasty.
Yes.
It was founded by a king, his name was Mendes, or by someone who was called Mendes, and he's of unknown origins. And he had the legitimacy to ascend the throne by marrying a lady who is a descendant of the Ramessides. Her name was Mut Nijimet. Mut Nijimet was one of the late descendants of the Ramessides, and as a matter of fact, by marrying her, Mendes had legitimacy to ascend the Egyptian throne, establishing the 21st dynasty. But the 21st dynasty ruled only the Delta. As I said, starting from the late 20th dynasty, we had two royal families ruling Egypt.
Yes.
The royal family of the priests of Ammon in Thebes, and we had the royal family or the royal dynasty ruling the north of Egypt. Some believe that Mendes, maybe he was an Egyptianized foreigner, but this cannot be really confirmed.
Yes.
The 21st dynasty had ruled the Nile Delta, and they had given a great deal of care. And surprisingly, there wasn't any kind of friction between them and the Theban dynasty in the south.
Yes.
As if there was an unspoken agreement that they would both rule the country. We had P. Nijm ruling the south, and we had Mendes in the north. And things actually went in peace. And the whole thing stayed until the 22nd dynasty came. That stayed like this for almost a couple of hundred years. We're talking about. Actually, this dynasty had left us their tombs and some of the remains of their temples. And as a matter of fact, we in 1939, the Frenchman Pierre Montet discovered their tombs intact. Unfortunately, he discovered this mega discovery in the wrong time, because the world was busy at that time with World War II. Nobody knew
Yes.
that we had such a great finding. You look at their collection in the Egyptian Museum, their gold masks, their silver sarcophagi. For the first time, we see something that big made out of silver, which was the sarcophagus of King Userkon.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, this dynasty, you can say that they were representing a transition period in the Egyptian history that was called the third intermediate period, the
Yes.
beginning of the decline of the ancient Egyptian history, and also peacefully they had lost the throne to the 22nd dynasty,
Yes.
to the army that was founded by an army general from who was an Egyptianized Libyan. His name was Shashank, forming the 22nd dynasty. So you can see that both dynasties are interacting together, or they are part of one period we call the third intermediate period.
Yes, I thank you very much for your valuable information. Thank you for joining us over the phone, Mr. Ihab Kamel, historian and researcher. And with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, The Breakfast Show. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.